And we're live. What is going on, everybody? It's your boy, Nikki Smokes, joined by Bobby and Jay. Welcome to the Smoke Show. We have a big episode today. We're going to talk about head coach Mike McDaniel as the coach of the year. We're going to talk about that Terron Armstead injury. We're going to talk about the San Francisco 49ers beef with the Miami Dolphins. And we're also going to talk about the Chargers game being flexed out to primetime football. But before I do that, I want to talk about a book that I've been reading, How to Win Friends and Influence People by Dale Carnegie. Dale Carnegie. Okay. Now, the second chapter of this book is called The Big Secret of Dealing with People. Now, Brian Flores obviously doesn't know this secret, or he would still be a head coach in the NFL. Luckily for us Miami Dolphins fans, Mike McDaniel knows this secret. Now, the only way to get people to do what you want is if you give them what they want. So what is it that you and I and all of us humans want in life? Well, according to William James, the deepest principle in human nature is the craving to be appreciated. So how do you fill the deepest craving in human nature? Well, that's the big secret. And the secret is to give honest and sincere appreciation. And that is exactly what you get from Mike McDaniel. And that is exactly why he is going to be the coach of the year. That is exactly why Tua Tagovailoa is having a career year. That is why this skinny, nerdy, stoner-looking dude is capable of leading an entire NFL locker room, because he understands how to fulfill our human desires, and he does that by giving honest and sincere appreciation. You go and watch Mike McDaniel's Mic'd Up. He is one of the most passionate, appreciative guys that you will see. You make a good play, he is the first person to walk over to you and give you a high five and say, hey, kid, you did a hell of a job. You look at last year with Flores, you make a big play, yada, yada, yada. He's just sitting there like this. Now, I don't know about you, but if I make a big play or I have a big sale in the office, yes, I would want my superior, my manager to be like, yo, good shit. Way to close that freaking deal. Mike McDaniel knows how to bring the absolute best out of each and every single one of his players. That's why he's going to be coach of the year. He's not going to be coach of the year because he has Tyreek Hill and now Tua Tagovailoa and all this firepower. Yes, that helps. But without his capability to get these guys to buy in to what he is saying through his coaching philosophy, the Miami Dolphins would not be 8-3 this year. So there you have it. That is why head coach Mike McDaniel will be coach of the year.
Holy shit. I didn't know that this podcast was featuring Socrates today or Aristotle. This guy just came in with the best monologue I've ever heard. And I had no clue that was coming. He started talking about books he was reading. I didn't know what direction we were going with. Well stated, my friend.
Golf clap.
Well stated.
Kind of like Bo James writing a book.
That's good. That's good. There's no way Smoke reads either. Maybe he does. Yeah. It's news to me. But, I mean, ripped it to a T. This guy is showing so much appreciation. He's showing Tua 700 clips, cut-ups. Yo, brother, we appreciate you. You have the confidence. You are a great quarterback. And that's what he's done, and it's resonated with this team so well. This is a cohesive bunch. And he talked about how this week they're going to stay out in California because they obviously have back-to-backs. And he can't wait. He can't wait for the team to just get along, bond, have some moments together, spend some time together, get closer. And that's one of my favorite things about this Miami Dolphins team, bro. Like, this team is such a unit. At the beginning of the season, it was the ping pong. Oh, they wanted to play ping pong and be competitive. Now it's you just see everything. They want to be together. They want to have a good time. And that starts with McDaniel. So hats off. I don't even know how to follow up what Smoke just started this show with, to be honest.
Yeah, I was going to say, like, Coach McDaniel, Coach of the Year. I was going to get into the football stuff. I guess that doesn't really matter here because we're just getting into the personality traits and all that type of stuff, but the philosophy of it all. But yeah, Mike McDaniel should be up there for Coach of the Year. At first, it was all Brian Daboll, but that's starting to fall down as the Giants continue to fall. And I'll be honest, he's right up there with Nick Sirianni and all these guys who are up there for Coach of the Year. And I do think it will probably come down to both those guys. And if we win the AFC East, I think he should win because no one had us beating the Bills for that AFC East at all. They already had said they were champions. Like they preemptively said that. So the fact that we might win the division, if we do win the division, he should easily win Coach of the Year because he's doing something that no one thought we could and that we didn't even think we could, honestly, at the start of the year. So the fact that he's proving us wrong, I just think is a great thing and why he should be Coach of the Year at the end of this year. The thing is, we might win every award. We might win every award. We might win MVP. We might win Coach of the Year. We might win Offensive Player of the Year. There's a lot of things that we're up there for. And I will say, when was the last time we had any guys up there for any of those awards? Because I don't remember.
We might go Taylor Swift at the Grammys on these motherfuckers. Take them all. They're all
might go
up.
Miss Adele. Miss Adele. We out here doing clean sweeps at the Grammys. Big ups, yeah?
Woo, yeah.
Big ups, yeah?
Wagwan.
Is Mike McDaniel not the greatest head coach that we've had in our lifetime? None of us are even close to 30. Maybe Bobby's close to 30. You are close to 30, right? What 27. Are you, Bobby? 28?
7.
Oh, damn, you old boy.
Yeah,
is he not the greatest thing that you've ever seen in your life, though? I love him, and everyone else loves him. Everyone loves this man.
He's only 38 too. Like,
it's not close, dude. Like at the beginning, I think I said this on Monday's show. At the beginning of the year, it was just like, I don't know about this guy. Like, there's something there. There's something interesting and unique about what he does and how he talks. But it's like, I don't know. We've had so many coaches come in and out of Miami that have just been dog shit. So it takes a second to kind of officially latch onto a guy and be like, this is my guy. I'm all in. I mean, after the first 3 games, all in. And then you start seeing them mic'd up. You see how Tua treats him. Tua's calling this guy at 11 p.m. at night just to check in. Hey, boss, how's it going? You chopping the wood over there? Are all the woods being chopped? You need anything for your fireplace? I'll chop the wood if you need it, coach.
You think Brian Flores was looking up Tua's highlight tape at 3 a.m? Dude, that is wild. That is wild.
Dude, I started YouTubing you.
And he said, like, dude,
I couldn't fall asleep. It was like 3 a.m. And remember how you said that you YouTubed me? So I was like, okay, I'm going to YouTube you. That's just my thoughts at 3 a.m. And then he's watching, out of everything he could have watched, he's watching his high school tape. Unreal, and he's like, dude, your technique was just trash. He wasn't watching his game film. He wasn't watching what he did against Cleveland. He wasn't watching what he did against Houston. Well, I mean, they were playing Houston. He was watching his high school tape. These guys are legitimately best friends. It is a complete 360 from what it was last year. I think this is the best quarterback head coach relationship that I've ever seen. Now, I know there's a lot of head coaches and quarterbacks that win. Exhibit A, Belichick and Brady. But I've never seen a brotherhood, a genuine friendship between a head coach and a quarterback like this in my life. Have you guys ever seen anything like this? Or have you heard anything like this before?
No, dude, it's the best. You don't see coaches break character. It's usually football. Oh, football.
Coach speak.
This guy is just making jokes. He's cracking jokes, covering up the thing. Georgia's the best SEC team in the nation or whatever he said. And then he said, Tua, did you just look me off playing catch? Like, he's keeping everything so lighthearted. The mood so loose. Like calm, cool, loose. You want to play for this guy, man. You're not going to work in a dictatorship where it's like, oh, I hope I don't make coach mad today. I hope I don't mess up because coach is going to yell at me. It's like, no, dude, be yourself. Have fun playing football. He tells them that every game. Have fun. Go out there and have fun. And that's what we're seeing, dude. It's paying off. Guys are playing loose. Guys are ready to go. Guys want to win for their brother next to them. It's truly remarkable, dude.
And the best part is, like, he's still, like, they're winning games, obviously, but they're still, like, he still obviously has the leadership of saying, you got to do this better. We've seen him have those moments on the sideline too. I think he finds the balance perfectly. I think he's a definition of a player's coach, but not to the point where it's going to take over and then that's going to be an issue going forward. I just can't see that. But it's just great to see him find that balance of being like one of the boys, but also being the coach. And man, it's such a breath of fresh air after last year. Even watching the press conferences from our perspective, dude, I was sitting through them like, why am I even watching this? He's just gonna say, let's take it one day at a time for the millionth time. Like, who gives a shit? Why are media people even interviewing him? You know what answer you're gonna get. And now we have Mike McDaniel giving thoughtful answers, like genuine answers to these questions, which is just nice to see. And then obviously on the sideline, you see his friendship with Tua for one, but you can see how he's still interacting with the defensive players. He's still saying, let's go, like praising them for their good work as well. So I just think he's such a good leader of men and such a good leader of this football team. And he's found that balance perfectly between being that player's coach and being able to be the guy who needs to say when something's going wrong. So I just think it's awesome. Like I said before, he's only 38. I could see him be the coach for a long, long time here because I can't see him not being a genius for one, just on the football field. Like the stuff he does on offense is just ridiculous, but just being such a good coach as well. So I love the fact that we brought him in. Thank God that we brought him in because, man, I remember when we talked about geniuses, we thought Adam Gase was a genius because of what he did with Peyton Manning. That's why everyone's like, oh my God, we're bringing an offensive genius. That's the difference. That is the difference. McDaniel is actually a football genius. He is a football guru. He's an offensive guru, and he's just been –
Adam Gase was actually a vegetable.
Yeah. He actually flipped us on his head.
He was on life support. They were just waiting to pull his plug. He was terrible.
Shout out to McDaniel.
Shout out Big Mike. Shout out Big Mike. And the best thing is that everyone – I don't know if this is actually the best thing because I don't like when a lot of people talk about the Dolphins, but everyone loves – this dude. Bobby, do you have the tweet for me?
Which one?
The one that I posted that was on SportsCenter.
Cheeky little.
Yeah, I got you, dog. I got you.
Little key flex. These little flex.
No,
but it's not just us Dolphin fans that appreciate him and think he's funny and all these things. It is the entire world. I sent out 3 tweets.
Oh, you want that one?
All from the mic'd up. 40,000 likes, 15,000 likes, 12,000 likes. And that's not because of me. I was just simply showing people Mike McDaniel and who he is.
37,000, 10,000.
Everyone loves this
19.
guy.
Clock.
He is hilarious. And he doesn't break character. He's like that whether he's mic'd up or he's not mic'd up. And I'm just so glad that we hit on that hire. And I am so glad that no one gave this man an interview. No one gave him the chance of day except the Miami Dolphins. And we are 8-3 today. So thank you, Mike McDaniel. Thank you to the Dolphins front office for finally getting something right. Got 62 people watching live. If you haven't already, hit that like button right now, please. It's free. It does not cost you anything. Although if you want to donate to the channel, you guys know where to go. Please hit that like button. It's going to help this video get in front of more Dolphin fans. It's going to help our channel grow. It's going to help us get to 5,000 subs. So if you haven't already, please hit the like button and please subscribe to the channel. Terron Armstead, big news came out today.
Yup.
We all thought he was going to miss at least 2 to 3 weeks. Well, Mike McDaniel came out and said today that, he might play this Sunday. Now, obviously, I was elated. That's great news. Finally, our star left tackle is going to keep fighting through injuries. He's going to keep going out there. We need him this week against Nick Bosa. We need him. And then I was kind of like, ooh. Well, what if we're rushing him out there? What if we rush him out there and he's going up against a guy like Nick Bosa and he re-aggravates that injury and makes it worse? Now, instead of missing the next 2 games, he misses the next 4 to 5 games. Are you guys worried about re-aggravating that injury if he does play on Sunday? Or are you kind of taking the conservative route? Because when I first heard it, I was like, okay, it's great that he could play. I don't mind him missing this game because I need him for LA, Buffalo, Green Bay, New England, the Jets, and the playoffs. If he plays this game and then they come out and say, oh, he made it worse than it already was, he's done for the season, I'm going to be livid.
Yeah, man, it's a slippery slope. It's a dangerous game because right now, I mean, you listed the other regular season games that we need him for. I'm not even there. We need him for the playoffs. The playoffs is the pinnacle. That's when the games matter the most. We need him for the playoffs. But right now, if the doctors say you can play, all it is a pain tolerance type of deal, and you're not going to aggravate it or injure it worse, play. Because Terron Armstead is going to be injured or hurt all the time. He already has been. He's on the injury report every week. He's a tough son of a bitch who loves playing for this team and will do whatever he can to get out there. So if it's just a pain tolerance thing and they're saying you might be in a ton of pain, but if you can get out there and go, it can't get any worse, then go. Then go. That's the kind of guy he is. He's going to play with an injury. And quite frankly, him at even 50% is better than anything 20%? Else we could throw out there. Him at 50% is better than 100% of anything else we could throw out there. So the team needs it. If he can play, the team needs him to play. But if it's the other case where it's like, you could do more damage if you get out there this week, I say give him the week off. So it really depends. It's kind of a wishy-washy answer. But if he can play and he's not going to do any more further damage, play the game, in my opinion.
Yeah, I'm with Bobby. And the thing is, too, like, we need him for this game, if we're being honest. Like, if this was let's say this game was to make it in the playoffs or something like that, like, he would be playing because, dude, Nick Bosa is real. And, like, I don't want to find out what it would be like if Terron Armstead isn't out there. Like, this is a game where it's, like, kind of necessary for him to play. With that being said, though, I agree with Bobby. It's one of those things where if he can do actual damage and, like, miss a lot of time after that, if he does, mess up his thing even more, mess up his pec even more, then yeah, I don't want him playing. But if it's just a pain tolerance issue, get him out there, man. Shoot him up with whatever, Total, whatever it is, and get him out there because we need him at that tackle spot because, like I said before, I don't want to find out what Nick Bosa is going to do to anyone else at that left tackle position. But
yeah, but aren't we going to need him again against Khalil Mack and Joey Bosa? Or are we going to need him again against Greg Russo or Von Miller comes back and he's healthy in time because he thinks he's going to come back by the Jets game, which is next week, which is insane to me. Don't you think we're going to need him down the stretch in New England against Judon? I mean,
I don't think it matters Jets. What opponent you say, bro. The opponent doesn't change.
But all the ones I just named are all AFC opponents, which means way more than San Fran.
I get your point, but I'm saying, look at what happened when Armstead left versus the Texans, the worst team in the league. That team, that offensive line crumbled and fell apart. So I don't think changing the matchup makes it any more or less different because I think no matter what, like him not being there is a detriment to this team. But I get what you mean. The AFC games, they do mean a little more in terms of like seeding and whatnot. But I mean, Mike McDaniel said it. It's 1/17 of the season. They all count the same. They're all wins. You need to go out and win. I don't care if it's the Texans or the Niners. Win's a win at the end of the day. It gets a little dicey with your AFC and your tiebreakers and whatnot. But, man, at this rate, we're going for a division title, a number 2, number 1 seed in the playoffs. If he can play, man, I'd love to see him out there. But if it's gonna be, hey, Terron, sit this one out. We'll have you back next week for the Chargers and for the rest of the stretch. I'm comfortable with that. I won't love watching this Niners game because I'd be scared of what could happen. But it is what it is sometimes, man.
Do you think he's going to play?
I do. I do think he's going to play because if I think he wasn't going to play, I think McDaniel would have said in his press conference today, Terron really wants to play. He's dying to play. He'd love to be out there with his guys, but medically he just can't do it. And then you got Armstead right after the game with his tweet. I don't know. Something in the air just tells me like this guy is going to be on the field.
What did he tweet after the game?
Just his normal, like, come on, Finns, we get better every day. Like his normal tweet. But like I feel like if he was down and out and missing games, he'd probably go dark on Twitter. That's a dumb thing. I may be reading too much into it. But I just got this feeling, man, that he's gonna play in this game.
Jay?
No, I was gonna say I agree. Like Bobby kind of took it out, like the words out of my mouth. When as long as it doesn't like damage him for the rest of the year, then he should play.
No, I'm asking, do you think he's going to?
Well, do I think he's gonna play? Like I probably think so. I think so. Like it's so wishy-washy. We don't have any.
I hope so.
I hope so. Yeah, exactly. Like that's I don't know. I hope so. Like that's all I can say. Do I think he's gonna play? Sure, because Bobby's right. I think McDaniel probably would have said what he said differently. I think he probably would have worded it a little bit differently. But even when we saw the Ian Rappaport saying like, "Oh, it's way better than they initially thought," and all this stuff, like it just seems like the tides are changing. Now, I do think it's gonna be a close call for this 49ers game, but I still think he'll play. He'll probably be a game time decision, and then we'll go from there. And to be honest, this is why we have a head coach. This is why head coaches make those decisions. Like they know, obviously they have way more information than us, but they have to make.
Do you think how they handle the Tua situation is gonna factor into
No, because that one is a whole different position, and I think it was on such a big stage.
He's the second most important player on this team.
Yeah, but national media doesn't care about offensive linemen like that.
It's a head injury.
No, but I'm saying I feel like in the back of McDaniel's head, he's like, oh, well, the last time we kind of forced a guy out there to play in a big game, it ended up costing us the next 3.
I didn't think of it in that light. It's honestly, you make a good point. You make a
good point. Yeah, maybe he goes, we'll rest him just because we want to be sure. But I think McDaniel's the type of guy to not let that affect his future decisions. I think he's very in the moment and let me do what's best for the team.
Go ahead, Bobby, read that.
He just said, I had the same feeling about the post. I feel like he would have said, thanks for the prayers. I'll be back better than ever. But he said, that's 8. Let's keep it going. Yeah, that's what the tone of the message was. Like, let's keep it going. Let's keep this thing rolling, which I don't know, made me think that he's going to play. And what we're talking about, Armstead, real quick, I just wanted to say, I don't know if you guys saw the Tua presser from today, but some really cool insight into Armstead and how every week in the offensive line meetings, he runs the session and he coaches the boys up and tells them everything he sees, everything he's watching. He takes accountability himself. He tells guys where they got to be better. And Tua was saying,
really?
And when
wait, by the way, so Tua's in there too? That's sick too. Sorry.
Yeah, and Tua said he'll go in there too, and he'll watch some of them and just kind of get a vibe with the offensive linemen. But he said that when Eichenberg went down, the first thing Armstead did is he grabbed Robert Jones, put his arm around his shoulder, and said, I'm going to take you under my wing, kid. And he's done just that. Robert Jones has been a very solid left guard. So Armstead is a lot more to this team than just what he's bringing on the field.
He should have did that to freaking Liam.
I think he saw Liam and said, that's a lost cause.
He tried. He's like, yo, that's just a broken bird. On to the next one.
Yeah, I think that's what might have happened.
He probably did try. Like,
get well soon, Liam. Take your time. We're still on that agenda. All the time you need.
Liam, will not take as much time as you need. No rush. Honestly,
we need him healthy.
Yeah, we need you healthy next year. Next year is the vision for you, Liam. Well, also, know what next year is? Hopefully, AJ's last year. Cut him. Cut AJ.
He'll be a depth piece.
Look, there it is. Depth piece. Backup. Happy with that. Maybe a blessing in disguise that he re-injured himself. Only because our best offensive line unit was the original 5 that were playing the last 3 weeks before the Houston game.
Mm-hmm.
That offensive line was in sync. And we brought AJ back, and no surprise.
For God knows what reason, by the way.
Offensive line performance in the last 3 weeks. Period. End of story. Now you go back to the original 5 that you had 3 weeks ago with Terron Armstead out there, and I believe that's the best unit. And I believe deep down the coaching staff knows that is the best unit possible. Just like when Liam went down. Now, I'm not trying to sound like a scumbag, but when he went down, there wasn't one of you Dolphin fans running to Twitter, oh my God, season's over, Liam's done. Not one of you. In fact, deep down, we're all thinking, wow, we might have just got better. And that is the same thing with AJ. He is a bust.
I got to ask, why the fuck did we take out Brandon Shaw from right tackle? By the way, Brandon Shaw has been a right tackle his whole life. I don't know why.
Balls at right tackle, sucks ass at left tackle.
No, but that's the thing. The reason he sucks at left tackle is because he doesn't play there. On Seattle, he's playing right tackle. He's a right tackle. He's not a swing tackle. He's a right tackle. And I don't know why we made the decision. Obviously, when Armstead goes out, that throws everything off. But first of all, the initial decision to put Austin Jackson back there, I would put him at left guard before I do anything at right tackle because Brandon Shaw was playing solid football. Then you don't even put him at left guard. You replace Brandon Shell, who's been one of your better offensive linemen. And then you have Austin Jackson there, which throws off the whole right side. Then when Terron Armstead goes out, you go, you know what? Austin Jackson has played left tackle his whole life, and Brandon Shell has played right tackle his whole life. Let's switch them because what the fuck was that? Why would you play them where they're naturally supposed to play? I get that Austin Jackson, their probably long-term vision is, he's going to be this team's future right tackle. We're not about long-term vision right now. This is about winning games. And Brandon Shell should be at right tackle. There's no reason to make that switch. So I'd rather have Greg Little at left tackle if that keeps Brandon Shell at right tackle. If you don't want to play Austin there, I'd rather do that.
We all know the reason. There's only one reason why Austin Jackson played last game, and it's because he's a first-round pick. He's got first-round pick attached to his name, so they're going to keep wanting to get that opportunity and prove that they didn't bust and prove that there's potential in this guy, and he'll somehow come along. At some point, you got to wipe your hands and say, we missed. We missed on that one. Let's.
You've done it with Noah. Just accept it with AJ, bro. You've done it. You've done it already. You've swallowed the pill with Noah. You got to learn to do on the offensive side of the ball too now.
And maybe he can evolve into the best depth piece in the NFL. He's not a quality NFL starter, But if we can get him to be the best offensive line depth piece in the NFL,
Go be a swing tackle, bro. Have fun.
I'll take that. Give me that. At this point, that's the vision with him, in my opinion.
Sorry, that just got me heated.
Yeah.
That made no sense to switch them. That made no sense. I saw Brandon Shell go to left tackle. I was like, what's going on? What's going on?
The best 5 is Armstead, Robert, Connor, and Shell. Robert. Yep. What did I say? I said that.
No. Robert's the right guard too. We have 2 Roberts.
I know. Robert and Robert.
Yeah.
Shout out Robert. That's a strong
I love
name.
my Roberts. I love Robert. Robert Bobby. Robert Balby Jr. Robert Dahmer Jr.
Back 9 Robert.
Robert. That's the best 5. They need to keep that best 5. Do not put Brandon Shell back at left tackle. It does not work. Keep him at right tackle. And if Terron Armstead cannot play left tackle, you have to put AJ there and just pray that it works. But that kid sucks. I am sorry.
Yeah.
Anyway, 100
You're not
people
sorry. No, you're not
live.
sorry.
I'm not sorry. I'm sorry, but I'm not sorry, if that makes sense. Like, I'm sorry that he's not good at football. So, therefore, I'm sorry I said that he sucks at football. That's why I'm sorry. AJ, I'm really not hurt. McDaniel, yes, you are. Amen, brother. That's the best thing McDaniel can move. Keep him off the field. 100 people watching live. If you haven't already, please hit that like button. It's going to help get this video in front of more Dolphin fans. It's going to help us grow our community. We're trying to hit 5,000 subs. We're almost there. We can only do that with your guys' help. So please hit that subscribe button. This channel is growing like crazy. And it's all because of you guys. And if you guys want to donate to the channel, you guys know you could hit that super chat button and donate directly to the channel. So this game is getting kind of personal, I would say. Not just for Mike McDaniel, but also Raheem Mostert and Jeff Wilson and River Craycraft. This game is very personal. Bobby, go ahead and pull it up.
Shout out to Jay for assembling this for us. Make it nice and easy.
Here's the former 49ers in the Dolphins organization. Mike McDaniel, John Embry, Wes Walker, Algic Robinson, Mike Person, Jeff Wilson Jr., Raheem Mostert, Savon Ahmed, Trent Sherfield, River Craycraft. I don't know about you guys, but that seems a little personal. And I don't know about you guys, but I feel like we have a major advantage when it comes to inside scoop because, as you all know, 3 weeks ago, Jeff Wilson was on the San Francisco 49ers. He knows their entire offense. He knows their entire playbook. McDaniel knows Kyle Shanahan like the back of his hand. Now, I'm sure Shanahan knows some of McDaniel's tendencies, but I would say, you know, Wes Walker, a guy from his coaching staff last year, Jeff Wilson, Raheem Mostert, all guys that played for this same exact team might have a little insight on what these boys are going to try to do. Who do you guys think has the advantage in this game?
Oh, I definitely think it's the Dolphins. It is usually hard. And I think of it more with Belichick. When former coaches come back to play Belichick, Belichick always puts them in a fucking body bag. But that was more of a Brady thing, in my opinion. I think the more the years are coming along, the more we're starting to realize without Belichick and without Brady together, they wouldn't have done anything. So take that aside. It is going to be difficult to go back to his home place and go beat his master. But at the same time, I think he has more of the intel. He has more of the know. He has more of the what is he thinking? I've been in his shoes. I know what he's doing. Shanahan's never been with McDaniel as a head coach. He doesn't know the new wrinkles. He's not inside that fucking big cranium that McDaniel has that's working 24/7, dialing up these offensive packages that the world's never seen before. He doesn't know about that. And side note, how dumb do the Niners feel giving up on Jeff Wilson Jr.? They bring in McCaffrey, and they think that what's the other running back's name? I'm blanking on it.
Elijah Mitchell.
Yeah, and they got Elijah Mitchell. Yeah. All of a sudden, Elijah Mitchell's hurt. All of a sudden, McCaffrey's banged up. It's like, you guys might have screwed that one up. Thank you very much. We'll take Jeff Wilson Jr. and love him here for what he is.
And he runs hard. Imagine how hard he's going to run this week. Woo!
Let me just sit back and just bask in the glory.
He's a freaking freight train, pal. An absolute freight train. Jay, how personal is this game for the guys in this Miami Dolphins organization?
I think it's very personal. And here's the other thing that Bobby, I think, was alluding to. McDaniel was within the 49ers organization when Shanahan was the play caller, but that wasn't the case. Like, Shanahan has never been with McDaniel when McDaniel was the play caller. That's what you were alluding to. That is what the advantage that we have is that McDaniel can go, this is how we called the play here. And he's been with him for how many years, where Shanahan was the guy just above him, which, by the way, is another thing. Like, listen, I'm sure they're boys. I'm sure, like, they don't give a shit really. But, like, you don't, maybe it rubs McDaniel the other wrong way that, like, he wasn't the guy calling plays. I don't know. But I just think it's interesting that McDaniel has been a part of the 49ers organization when Shanahan was calling plays, which gives him a little bit of an advantage. Obviously, we have River Craycraft and Sherfield. So many guys from that organization, they probably know a couple of the wrinkles that they're going to throw in. But I just think it's definitely an advantage, Miami, because who do the 49ers have that have been in our organization? I don't know off the top of my head. It's like nobody, though. So that just gives the Dolphins a major advantage going into the game, which is so nice to see, because that gives McDaniel another advantage going up against his former, assistant, his former partner, they were partners in crime, really. They were together through Baltimore, Atlanta, San Francisco, like his whole career. That one clip of them like telling Baker to fake the run, that was obviously really cool. And you've seen these guys grow up together, so I'm sure there is a little bit on the line for them. They probably have a little bit of a wage going on behind the scenes.
Aside from a future playoff win, I believe this would be the biggest win for Mike McDaniel this year. And that's saying a lot, because he's knocked off Harbaugh, Belichick, McDermott. He's knocked off the best of the best. But to go out there and beat Kyle Shanahan, a guy that you literally looked up to, you were his protege, and you go out there and you beat him in his home turf your first year as a head coach and play caller,
that is at the end.
Big dub. And don't think it's not personal for Mike, because he's a human being.
Yep.
And he does a great job in all of his press conferences letting everyone know that football players are humans and they all have emotions and they all feel certain things. And if you think for 1 second that this game doesn't mean a little bit more, because I know Bobby said every game means 1/17. Nah, this one means like a 1.3 out of 17 for Mike McDaniel. It's just a little bit more personal. Do you think this is the biggest game for Mike McDaniel so far this year?
In my opinion, I mean, I look at it as a fan, from my standpoint. So from my standpoint, I think the biggest game for him should have been Buffalo and beating Buffalo, getting that monkey off our back, in my opinion.
Check.
But for him personally, he's going to have different ulterior motives. So I could see him definitely wanting to kind of stick it to them. And I don't think it's beef. Like, I don't think it's bad blood. Like, fuck these guys. It's more just like, I'm going to go stick it to them. I'm going to show them what they missed out on, especially for like the players, like a Mostert or Jeff Wilson Jr. They're not like, oh, fuck the Niners. It's up as soon as I feel like it's more like all right, word. Now I get to go back there and show them what I'm all about. I get to go put up 100 and a touchdown in their face and be like, look what y'all missed out on. Something like that. I think it's more of that kind of vibe rather than like, yo, fuck these guys. We're going to kill them. We hate them. It's on site. It's more of like a, let's go show them something. Let's go show them what they're missing out on.
I think it's up. Debo was talking reckless. The other boy was tweeting like, you think you better run on this defense? LOL, laughing emojis, bro.
The other boy, no one knows who he is.
It's up, dog. It's up.
It's kind of up.
No, I kind of agree with both of you. The things Bobby took the words right out of my mouth again. The thing for me is like, clearly, what's it called? Like, for Miami as a team, I do think Buffalo was the biggest win again. Like Bobby said, getting the monkey off your back, finally being Buffalo out of seven starts against Josh Allen. But 7. I will say for Mike McDaniel, like Bobby said, for Mike McDaniel personally, this probably is his biggest game. And I don't know. I think it's going to be one of those things where obviously I don't think they're going to hate each other after this or anything like that. But I do think, like Bobby said, like I do think they want to have this over the other person. I do think that's going to be a part of it. And like he said, again, for the players, like it's huge. It's a major factor where you're going to get up, you're going to flex on him. You think Trent Sherfield's going to make a big catch, he's going to flex on him saying, you thought all I was some wide receiver 4 or 5 on your team. Look what I can do now. Look at our team go. So I do think there is definitely a little bit more on the line. I do not believe what Mike McDaniel and all these players are saying, like, oh, it's another game. Like that's coach speak. They have to say that. You can't tell me that Mike McDaniel, a person who he's been working with for so many years, that he doesn't want to win that just a tad little bit more.
Definitely.
You're not fooling me.
Not fooling me
Mike.
One bit. 120 people watching live. If you haven't already, hit that like button, please. It is free. It does not cost you a thing. It's going to help get this video in front of more Dolphins. It's going to help us grow our community. If you haven't already, please hit the subscribe button. It's going to help us hit our new goal of 5K. I feel like we're raising the goal each and every single week, and that is because of you guys. If you haven't already, turn that bell on, because if you don't already know, we're live every Monday, Wednesday, Friday from 5 to 6, but this way you'll never forget that. So please hit that like button, please subscribe, and if you want, hit that little bell. My only thing about this whole thing being personal is that if you're going to say something, stick by it. Like Raheem Mostert, don't come out here and try to retract your statement and be like, oh, you know, my wife and Jimmy's wife are best friends and I would never come out here and diss him like that, blah, blah, blah. Nah, dude, you said we actually have a quarterback who can sling it, and it's true. You actually have a top 5 guy in Tua Tagovailoa. So when they ask you what's different and you come out there and you say we have a quarterback that can actually sling it, you stand by that because, brother, it is a true statement. It is not shade. It is a fact. It is not fiction. You actually have a quarterback who can sling the freaking football. Do you guys have a problem with Raheem Mostert backtracking on his previous statements?
I mean, dude, just from like a person like perspective, he probably has relationships and he probably felt some sort of way when people were like, oh, this guy fucking hates me now. He thinks I suck at football. And he probably just wanted to mend those fences. But damn, would I have liked for him to stand on his word and just be like, I said what I said. You read it. You heard it. You know what I said. And I meant what I felt. If he would have did that, that would have been some gangster shit. And it would have made this game a whole lot more interesting because it would have been legit bad blood. But I get what he had to do, man. You got to play the politics sometimes, make people happy. But, man, if he would have stood on it and said some of that shit, that would have made it legendary, to be honest.
The reason I think he would have done that, the thing is, like, his quote was taken out of context in the first place. Like, he even say, like, crazy shit in the first place, other than, like, we're a more talented team, which I think we are, by the way. I don't think he was lying. But I think that more
talented football team.
He was already misquoted, like, in the first place, which is why I think that made him say what he said after, just because he was misquoted in the first place. I think if he wasn't misquoted, he probably wouldn't have said anything at all. Like, he wouldn't have doubled down or anything, but he just wouldn't have said anything after that. But the thing with that is that he was misquoted. So I definitely think he wanted to be like, listen, I didn't say like how they're I still think he meant like we are more talented. He fully said that. I just think the misquote part like made him say like, you know, it made him backtrack what he said. But I just think, like Bobby said, like he probably does have some boys on that team. Like he probably does have to take that back a little bit for sure and just be like, listen, I'm just, you know, gassing up my team, not trying to put you guys down, even though it would have been awesome to see Raheem Mostert do that. I just don't think Raheem Mostert is that type of guy.
I think this is the best team that we've played all year, including Buffalo week 3. I think this will be the biggest test for us so far this year. That defense is so freaking real. Now, I don't want you to go too in-depth because that's what Fired Up Fridays for, the full game preview. But what is the one thing that's going to keep you up late at night heading into that game on Sunday?
I mean, I personally think that San Francisco is the best team in the NFC. I think they're the most talented. I think that they're the best coached. I think all of that. I placed a wager on them a couple of weeks ago to win the Super Bowl, as a matter of fact. So my money backs up my words. This is the hardest test for the Miami Dolphins. Heading out west to go play a game in their element, it's going to be a true test. And I'm looking forward to seeing how they respond, man, because I'm not putting any of those other games aside. The Buffalo game, massive test, all that. But that was at home. We know we're going to see them boys later, and it's going to be a crazy game again. But this Niners game is the freaking real deal. And the thing that gives me the most worry, it's got to be that offensive line situation, man. If Armstead's out there, I feel good. I feel really good. If Armstead's not out there, Joey Bosa will be in my nightmares for a couple of days, I'm thinking.
Nick.
Yeah, Nick Bosa.
Fuck him.
Sorry, we got Joey next week. It's fine.
For me, I think I agree. 49ers are a massively talented team, one of the most talented teams we played all year. Probably a little bit more talented just because the Buffalo team wasn't completely healthy. So I agree with that point. The person that's going to keep me up at night is Fred Warner and Dre Greenlaw. Those two are fantastic players at their position. I'll be honest. I think Fred Warner is the best linebacker in football, personally. I think he's fantastic. He can stuff the run. He can drop back in coverage. He's everything that you would want in a linebacker. He's fantastic. Dre Greenlaw, too. Azeez Al-Shire's out there as well, who's a pretty solid third linebacker to that core. And we all know that Tua loves the middle of the field. And guess where linebackers are? In the middle of that field. And when you're facing a guy who is probably the best pass coverage linebacker in the NFL, as well as being one of the best run stuffers, like he's the best all-around linebacker, at least to me, I think that's a huge test for what Tua can do. And you see Tua moving guys with his eyes, but These are guys who aren't as good as Fred Warner. If he starts doing that to Fred Warner, like we have to have a completely new conversation around Tua Tagovailoa, because if he starts doing that to Fred Warner, it's never gonna stop. It will never stop because Fred Warner is that talented. I respect Fred Warner that much to the point where if Tua starts, dancing him around, moving him like his own little chess piece, then I got to start putting Tua on a different level, because I think everyone's talking about this year, but I think in general, if you talk about quarterbacks, he's in that top 8, top 7 range. If he starts doing this, especially in this whole 3-game stretch, then we have to put him on a whole other level when you talk about quarterbacks in general, not just for this year. But Fred Warner's the guy, man. He's the guy who you have to watch out for. He's the guy you have to make sure you probably don't even want to throw at, to be honest with you. And it's just a player who he's a game breaker. Like, I know it's not the flashiest name, inside linebacker, doesn't get the national media attention, but that's a guy who can really, damage what you want to do. And especially in the Dolphins offense, where they utilize that middle of the field. And I think this is their biggest, specific positional matchup to date. I don't think they played a linebacker like Fred Warner all year. I think they've been playing a lot of lackluster linebackers, to be honest with you. So going up against Fred Warner is going to be a real test.
Yeah, man. Jimmy Garoppolo just keeps me up late at night. I'm so petrified of playing him. Absolute elite quarterback, top 5 in the league. He's so freaking good. Jimmy G is going to keep me up all night. Not at all. Little fucking dweeb. He is good looking though, and he could honestly bang any bitch that he looks at. So shout out Jimmy G's good looks, but you suck at football. And last time we played you, we got your ass benched because you're trash. The Niners are a good freaking football team, but we are going to save that for Friday. So make sure you come back here Friday from 5 to 6 p.m. for the full Dolphins 49ers game preview. Now, got some more Dolphin news. Everyone loves the Dolphins these days.
Ooh, I know.
So much that now the Justin Herbert versus Tua Tagovailoa game has been flexed.
The Twitter Bowl, baby. The Twitter Bowl.
Flexed out to Sunday night. This is going to be the most toxic game of all time. You are going to hear and rewatch every possible draft clip from the 2020 draft. You're going to see footage you've never seen before. You're going to see the Chargers front office probably reacting to getting Herbert or this and that. Be like, well, at first the Dolphins probably regretted taking Tua, but now it looks like they got their guy and he's up there in the MVP category. This is going to be the most toxic mano-a-mano Sunday night football matchup all year long. And the funny thing is that Herbert and Tua genuinely probably don't give a flying fuck. Yeah. The only people that really care is us Dolphin fans, Charger fans, and the national media, so we could come up here and talk our shit after the game. But can you guys see this being almost like a Game of Thrones episode where it is just going to be absolute freaking
carnage,
smoke.
Just carnage,
the whole game, just carnage, shots everywhere.
This is the game when the schedule came out. This was one of the ones where I looked at it and said, I cannot wait to watch this game because I know everything that's on the line. Like you just said, Twitter will be on fire, bro. It's going to be toxic. It's going to be disgusting. You're going to see people calling people names. It's going to be the absolute best. And I felt similar about the Bengals game. I thought we were going to get the Tua versus Burrow showdown. We all kind of know how that ended. Not great. But now it's the real deal because the Dolphins could have took Herbert. They had him right there in their lap. If they wanted Herbert, he was there. We could have took him. The last couple of years, everyone says, oh, well, the Dolphins fucked that one up. They could have had Herbert. They could have had the stud. Not anymore. Now I'm seeing Photoshops of Tua in Chargers jerseys. You know what I'm saying? It's going to be that kind of game, and it's flexed out prime time so the whole world can see it. And primetime games are scary, man, because at 1 o'clock when you're just watching your fins, everything's going on. You're kind of in your own little world.
And I hate waiting that long. I hate the wait.
Butterflies.
It makes me sick. I can't stand it. I hate the freaking wait. But I would love nothing more than Justin
I want to win so bad.
Absolutely exposed against the Dolphins. Again, by the way.
Again.
We beat that man's ass so bad he cut his hair. We made him look like that boy from Toy Story. Made that boy look like the boy from Toy Story.
Come on now.
We were on that ass like white on rice, son. That game is going to be electric. And we are a much better football team than the LA Chargers. I can assure you of that, pal. And the fact that the team's staying out in Cali, which I said they would, by the way, I think that's going to be huge. Now, if they win, that momentum's going to be even crazier. And if they lose to the San Francisco 49ers, they're going to have that whole week of just, hey, boys, we're going to figure this out and we're going to turn this thing around right the F now. I think it's a win-win. I love the fact that they are staying out there, and I just love the fact that the lights are going to be on the brightest. And if this game comes down to the fourth quarter, I am so confident in Tua's ability to put a game away and go out there and win a game than I would ever be in Justin Herbert. Because I tell you what, that man loves to throw interceptions when it matters the most. And our quarterback, if you haven't noticed, he don't turn the ball over no more. That Tua turned the ball over. That nickname is
He got 3 picks all year, bro. He got 3 picks all year.
Not even a thing anymore, family.
I mean, dude,
I can honestly tell you with a straight and honest face that Tua Tagovailoa is a better quarterback than Justin Herbert this year.
I mean, dude, it's a thing. Like, the narrative around Tua right now, if you had to say, would be third down Tua, third down Tua, third down Tua. This guy's the best third down quarterback the NFL's ever seen. The narrative around Justin Herbert is fourth quarter Herbert. This guy's blowing games.
And it's not a good fourth quarter Herbert.
No,
it's not like fourth quarter Brady. You know, like Brady's down in the fourth quarter. It's like, oh, we've seen this
too much
movie.
Time, yeah.
Herbert's down in the fourth quarter. And it's like, we've seen this movie. Where's the interception coming?
Yeah. And then you want to talk coaching? You want to talk coaching in that game? They got Staley,
who's lost
that team.
Right,
he's lost that team more games than he's won probably with his fucking antics and decision making. Where over here, we got the GOAT running the show. We got the people everyone wants, or the person everyone wants to talk about, Mike McDaniel. So I cannot wait for that game. We're not going to overlook San Francisco, but hey, a little flex. Flex. Now you got Dolphins primetime versus the Chargers. You're going to have Dolphins primetime versus the Bills the next week. It's either going to be Saturday or Sunday. Then the week after that, you got standalone versus the Packers on Christmas. We're going 3 in a row, boys.
Mind you, dangerous. Am I crazy to say that if they flex Buffalo, that would actually help us with our travel? Get an extra like 6-7 hours of just getting settled? Is that a possible reasonable take? Probably not.
I don't know.
Because I mean, what do they fly out on? They fly out on what, like Thursday or Friday anyway. So it's not like they're gonna have an extra day of rest.
Well, are they gonna?
They get a couple extra hours before the game. Get an extra nap in.
Are they gonna go from California back to Florida up to Buffalo, or are they
going to come back to Florida?
They're going to come back to Florida for that weekend, I'd assume.
Okay.
They're probably going to take the first flight out after the game. Well, no, it'll be a night game. So
it's funny though too that you bring that up. How like Tua and Herbert probably don't care. Like, I'll be honest. By the way, if we take out the fact like the Tua versus Herbert thing, we should shit kick the Chargers. Like, let's just take out the whole.
Yeah, we should kick them in the.
We are a way better team than the Chargers. Like, let's just be clear about that. We should shit kick them, and that means well for us because if we're gonna shit kick them, Tua's playing good. But that's just something I want to put out there because everyone's talking about Tua versus Herbert, which should be the main storyline. I agree. I'm just saying if you take that out of it, like we are just the better team.
If we win both games in LA,
epic is the right word for that right there.
Malfunction. I can't even think about what I would do if we win both games. If we win one, that's fine. And again, I said this last week. There's not a single team that I believe overpowers the Miami Dolphins in the NFL. We could go out there and whip anybody's ass any given Sunday, whether you're Buffalo, whether you're KC, whether you're the Cowboys, whether you're the 49ers. I do not care who you are. You're going to meet us on the football field on Sunday, and I have the utmost confidence that the Miami Dolphins are going to go out there and win the freaking football game. I'm just saying, to sweep in Cali would be huge for this football team. Could you imagine being 9, 10, and 3 going into Buffalo? If we win that game in Buffalo, that might win us the AFC East right there.
Good.
It will be for the division. I think that's the case. I think that will be for the division.
I mean, imagine going 1, 2, 3, boys. That's what I'm thinking right now. 1, 2, 3. If we do that, don't fuck with us because we're coming for everyone's neck. Everyone's throat. It will be on site.
Add the Packers after that. Like, that ain't the Packers, dog.
Rodgers won't be playing by then.
I'm getting too ahead of myself.
Yeah, bro, we gotta get through these 3 games, boys. We gotta get through these 3. Like,
yeah, we ain't playing Houston this week. We gotta choose.
I will say, I came on the show. I had to wear the shirt for a reason. We're talking championships, baby. That's what we're at. That's what we're on.
Man.
We're talking championships. What did Tua say? We're not afraid to talk Super Bowls. That's where we're at in this organization. What a ride to be on, eh? Let's talk. Like, we were 1-7 last year, shooting bricks. I want to kill myself. Now look at
reality, though.
Woo.
Because me and Bobby were in the same toxic, degenerate fantasy football chat, and they all hate the Finns outside of me, Bobby, and shout out my dog Krug. But they're giving us our respect now. They're like, damn, nah, like, yo. Like Mike McDaniel's actually tough. Like, yo, like you guys are actually pretty good. Like Tua's not trash anymore.
Yeah.
Like
my boy,
people notice the Dolphins are good. Name. You can't name a top 5 team in the NFL without having the Miami Dolphins in it. And if you do, you're just a bum.
You don't know football. Reevaluate yourself. Reevaluate the way you watch football. My boy, he's a Bills fan, massive Bills fan. He obviously was shitting on us the last 2 years. And ever since Josh Allen came there, as he kept beating us, he literally texted me. He's like, "Dude, I am scared of the Dolphins. Like that is a must-win game for us. Like we have the respect now, which is great to see. Like the boys are a little worried over there because we actually do have such a powerful offense. So nice.
It's nice, boys. This feels fucking good because in past Dolphins seasons, no one else believed in us outside of Dolphins fans, and even us Dolphins fans, deep down, we kind of knew like, it's going well. Maybe we'll get to the playoffs. Maybe now we're getting to the playoffs. Let's go win a playoff game. It's getting real. It's getting.
Do you guys
real.
think it feels too nice?
No.
Like as a scarred Dolphin fan, like
we've had too many injuries, bro. Nah. We've already got past that. We've had too much stuff go the wrong way.
Whoa. Just say we've done a good job overcoming it. Don't say we got past that yet. Still a lot of football to be played, John.
I got a little I'm gassing a little bit too much.
Yeah. It's all right.
It's a roller coaster ride, boys. We just got to enjoy the journey.
This Kool-Aid is fire.
Ooh, so good.
Good ass.
Bro, it's got a high % of alcohol, but I'll be honest, you can't taste that bitch.
It's like a twisted tea. Have you had a twisted tea?
Twisted tea?
Honestly, elite. If you like iced tea, they're elite.
Yeah.
I
just come off as like a girly drink, but if you somehow like I get a twisted tea, I'm like, oh, I'll pound this real quick.
I'll pound that real quick. I mean, I'm not going out of my way to buy a 12-pack of twisted tea. But like if it's there, I will gladly accept it, and I will most definitely enjoy the twisted tea, the twisted Tua tea, the tea that's twisted into a twisted tea, Tua tea, twisted teas, presented by The Smoke Show. All right. Got 150 people watching live.
Bro.
If you haven't already,
send that to Twisted Tea. What are we doing here? Come on.
Yeah, bro. What are we doing?
You guys need to sponsor us. 150 people watching live. If you haven't already, hit the like button. If you're new to the channel, please subscribe. We're trying to hit 5K. The only way we could do that is with your guys' help. And if you don't want to miss a show ever, hit that little bell. Turn the notification bell on. It'll let you know every single time we go live. We go live every Monday, Wednesday, Friday from 5 to 6. That's going to end today's show. Shout out to everyone in the chat. We love you guys so much. You guys absolutely blew it up. Thank you guys for giving us an hour of your time. We're so grateful for it every single time you come on here. We'll never, ever, ever take it for granted. We will always try to provide the absolute best Miami Dolphins content for you. You could follow all of us right here at our @ on Twitter. Yeah. And as always, fins up.
Fins up, baby. Fins for the